The AMD budget gaming build is complete, and sitting right behind me here, kind of staring down, its arch nemesis, the Intel budget gaming build. Hello everybody and welcome to Tech Uploaded. I'm Chris, and what else really is there to say? I've got components in front of me and I've got an Intel 20th Anniversary Edition Pentium processor here to do some overclocking with for the budget gaming Intel build. So as I said in the intro, the AMD build is behind me. If you want to see a long version of this video, go ahead and watch that one because it was a full build and quite long. This will be pretty much the opposite. I'm just going to time-lapse this build and run through the components that are going to make up the Intel budget gaming build. So let's take a look at those. I've got the ASRock Z97 M Pro 4 M-ATX motherboard, an EVGA GTX 750 Ti, a Hyper 212 Evo hiding, well, really underneath the Asus optical drive, the DVD-RW, and then, of course, a Samsung 840 Evo 120GB SSD, and as I said in the AMD build, if you're going to cut a component, cut this one. The next one to cut would be the Hyper 212. You can shave about $100 off doing that. And moving over, got another Corsair power supply in the mix here, this time the CX500. And to go with that, I do have some 8GB 4x2 1600 MHz Hyper X Fury memory, and a 1TB Western Digital Blue mechanical drive. And of course all this will go in the exact same case as the AMD build, and that is the SPEC-01 from Corsair. But the star of the show here really is this 20th anniversary Pentium processor. So if what I've been reading on the interwebs is true, this 20th anniversary Pentium processor should be able to pull some really impressive performance when it's overclocked. Like incredibly impressive from looking at the numbers that I've seen so far. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Now, as I said in the AMD video, the way I'm going to separate this initially is AMD GPU, AMD CPU for the AMD build, and then the more common combo that we see a lot of people go with, and that's Intel CPU, NVIDIA GPU. But you know what? Once all the benchmark numbers are in and the head-to-head is done, just taking the best of both worlds and combining them and getting a final price tag for what's going to get you the best bang for the buck between all of those different components is really going to be the fun and rewarding part of this little face-off. So in order to have that face-off, we have to have two computers, so it's time to start building. Right, so another successful build. The Intel budget gaming build is complete, and the second time through wasn't as bad now that I'm more familiar with this case. It really, again, for the price, I guess it gets the job done, but if you can get a little bit more money in your budget and get a better case than this, I'd highly suggest it. It's a real pain to work in. It was a giant pain to get the screw, especially in the very top area of the motherboard, because there's just no room to get your screwdriver in up there. I actually resorted to using the screwdriver that came with the Noctua NHD15, because it was that really thin one, and even that was still hard. So that's an issue. You don't have anywhere to route the CPU cable, and in this case, the cable was really wanting to dip down into the CPU fan, so I had to tie it to the top, sacrificing the option for one of the 120mm fans at the top. And I did have to mount the Hyper 212 Evo in the way that I don't like, again, because just the way that it fits on the case, or fits in the case, if you do it so that it is vertical, the door, since it has that tapered side panel, bumps into the little heat pipes that stick out on the cooler heatsink itself. So that's a bummer. So I've got it mounted horizontally just as I did in the AMD. And it gets the job done, but like I said, I'm blowing the hot air from the CPU into the GPU area, and the only other real option there is to pull the heat from the GPU area up through the CPU, so you're really not winning either way there. Looks like temps are hovering right around 36, so this is already running cooler than the Athlon X4 760K, and it's pretty much the exact same setup. Now, when I actually do the benchmarking, I may add a exhaust fan on the back. I think that may be necessary when I start pumping a lot of heat into these systems, especially the AMD system. That's going to bump the price of the build up another $10 to $15 for a real basic case fan. But I think it's probably going to be worth your while to put it in there, because just that front fan, I feel like it's not really enough, especially if you're generating a lot of heat with your GPU and you're really heating up the CPU from being on an overclock. So all that said, it's now time to do the Windows install on both of these systems. So as I said in the AMD video, I'm going to do a video for the Windows installation process, as well as doing your drivers in the particular order in which I do those, and then setting up your system with an SSD as the boot drive, and then a separate drive for storage. Because I've had quite a few of you ask me how to do that and how I go about doing that. So I'm gonna do a video. Why not? As always, if you found this video helpful, please go ahead and click on that subscribe button. And of course, you can also follow me over on Twitter at TechUploaded. And you know what? I'm on Facebook. I am on Facebook, so search for Tech Uploaded. You can find me there. And finally, if you really want a question answered, go ahead and shoot me an email at techuploaded@gmail.com. And you know the drill. Don't be a stranger. Check back soon.